for the presentation is going also to be done by Cynthia Cavalier. Cynthia is the granddaughter of the author of Cavallini of Lebanon, who migrated to the U.S. in 1903 and settled in Chicago. She raised 4 children, one of whom was Cynthia's father. Cynthia never got a chance to meet her papu because she passed away just before she was born. Cynthia and her sisters have been on the search for their heritage since 1995, the year her sisters discovered the island of Sicily. Cynthia was born and raised in Chicago and pursued a career in technical theater. She worked in various capacities, including as stage manager for the famous Chicago Second City Theater. In 1978, she relocated to the Los Angeles area and continued to work in various capacities in the entertainment industry. In 1989, she accepted the position of the Cultural Arts Coordinator for the city of Alhambra, a municipality of 92,000 people just to the east of Los Angeles. She has worked for Alhambra since then in various capacities within the Community Services Department and eventually earned the position of Director of Community Services Director. After 6 years in this position, she accepted the position of Environmental Resources Director, which she has held since May of this year. Cynthia holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Theater Arts, technical emphasis from California State University, Los Angeles, and the Masters of Public Administration from the University of La Verne, California.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, hold on 1 second, a little technical. Now, you're all expecting a presentation about the library, and my part in the library was getting bookshelves to Kithra, which would hold the shelves for the library. And you may be looking at this slide and saying, I think she's on the wrong PowerPoint because this doesn't look like a library at all. But this is actually very much a cornerstone to the project of getting the bookshelves to the library. As was mentioned in my bio, in 1903, my grandfather immigrated to the United States, and he settled in Chicago where he raised 4 children. It was very important to him, apparently, that we assimilate very well with the United States and American culture, and by doing so, all of our culture, all of our heritage had been lost. Fast forward to 1995, when my sister found herself on a journey to Athens, and she went back to my uncle, and she said, Uncle George, I'm going to Greece. What can you tell me about our heritage? Well, he knew very little, but he was able to give her the name of someone who was able to provide some information, and in doing so, also provided this photograph. Those of you who know of Lemonis and know the Cavallini house will recognize that in the far corner is the sundial. The far left corner, there's a sundial. With that little bit of information, my sister was able to find the village of Lemonis only through the help of people on the island who also recognized some of the people in the photograph. With that information, then, we discovered that we had relatives in Australia. And so over the next 10 or so years, there was communication back and forth between the United States and Australia trying to get to know our heritage and our family, our extended family. Fast forward. Maybe Vicki will help me, but try and focus on the little thing there in the corner while Vicki helps me. But fast forward to 2008, when the Cavallini family here in Australia, Spiro Cavallini and his daughter Pauline, gathered on Hithra with some of my extended family, my sisters and cousin, and we decided to go looking for our heritage. We discovered the Cavallini house and we were introduced to it. Don't go away, please. Did it work? Okay. So as a part of our research then, we went to the City Hall because we wanted to make sure that our grandfather had been registered at the City Hall. And we worked with the people at the City Hall and the dedicated staff there were really happy to help us. And then we were very graciously introduced to the mayor by George Poulos. So while we were working with the mayor, talking with the mayor, being a public administrator and working in government myself, I said to the mayor, so, Mayor, what are the needs on the island? And being a public administrator, he said, bookshelves. We have a building, we have books, but we need bookshelves. Well, my family and I, we went back, we said, oh, maybe we can throw some money in that direction. And that was the end of that, and we went on. But as I went back to Los Angeles, the very weekend that I went back, they were opening a brand new library in my city, and they were discarding everything from the old library. And I stood at the ribbon cutting and I thought, bookshelves. What are they going to do with those old bookshelves? Do they need bookshelves like these? They're very quality bookshelves. They're just going to throw them away. Or these? Or maybe these? So I went to the city manager of the city of Alhambra and I mentioned it to him and he was a little skeptical, but he said, okay, see what you can do. So thinking that I might be able to get these bookshelves, I started thinking about the things that would go into actually obtaining the bookshelves. So what was the city going to do with them? We had to declare them surplus, but they couldn't give them to us, so we had to pay $1 for them. We had to make sure that they had no substantial value in order to get them. And then other questions that would, of course, be important. Would the municipality of Hithra really want them? Will the city of Alhambra release them to me? Will there be support from the community to get the funds together to send them? And what will it actually cost to ship them? Was it going to be worth it? Well, we needed to then start gathering the funds because we got affirmative answers on all of these things and it became a project. So then I went to the Rotary of Alhambra and they pledged their first $1,000. And I also went to the Soroptimist International, which is an organization I belong to, and I said, will you be the backbone of this project? And they agreed. I began collecting funds, and as you can see, the city of Alhambra, of course, donated the bookshelves. Well, we paid $1 for them, but basically they donated them. They donated the time to move the bookshelves out of the old library because the city manager did not want the responsibility of having volunteers disassemble those shelves, so the city actually paid to have them removed. We went to the Rotary, they gave us money, the Catherian Society of California gave us money, the Catherian Association of Australia pitched in, the Catherian Society of New York also got involved, Daughters of Penelope in Santa Barbara, AHEPA. It really started to grow, and as you can see, many of the Cavallinas, the American Cavallinas family, also donated funds. So you can see the list was quite long, and those of you who are familiar with the television show Cheers, is anyone here familiar with that show? You can see Shelley Long is on there as well. She also donated to this project, so she definitely thought this was worthy. Okay, we got the money, let's get to work. So we started disassembling those bookshelves, gathering all the pieces, sorting and bundling the pieces. And the staff that we used were primarily lifeguards pool managers, because those are the ones who were available at the time. And so the pile started to grow, and the former library started to become a show. And this was my demolition crew, my primary demolition crew. But then we needed to store those shelves because we still did not have all the funding together and all the pieces put together, like how are we going to ship them, were we going to purchase or rent a container. So there's still a lot of logistics that needed to be taken care of. Luckily, we had a towing company that had a warehouse, and he volunteered to let us store the bookshelves in his warehouse. So they started stacking the bookshelves, finding places wherever they could. The shelves had to be counted, all the pieces, the brackets, everything had to be counted by hand and recounted and stacked. The legs to the bookshelves were very tricky to stack. And this was my inventory crew. So you can see a big piece of cardboard, and that's how they inventoried. Well, I was so thrilled when we finally had enough funds that we were able to purchase a container, fill the container, and at that point then we had to hire people because they were no longer within the city property, and so part of the funding went to hiring people, same crew by the way, but we now gave them a stipend, basically scholarship money.